everything starts in the soul, in the heart. What the Bible talks about the heart of man. And so that space is where I talk about internal alignment. So you have your spirit, the soul, and the body. But this work of emotional growth and development is tied to gaining internal alignment, aligning your spirit with the natural world, your body. And ultimately, when people individuate, becomes an individual, then they can govern their reality better, and then they can self-actualize. You can go higher into newer dimensions and experience life at a higher level. And so the first thing I'm going to share is really just to explain what people are navigating right now. I would explain the behaviors that lead to that, and then I'll wrap it up with 12 realities that people need to work on, and I'll go deeper in that. So let me start right now with number one, this idea that people can be in emotional stronghold, right? Is that when people find themselves emotionally in a space that they don't want to be, but they don't know how to get out of it, they can be energetically held. Literally, this is science. They can be held together in the physical world, right? Activating their central nervous system into fight, flight, freeze. Okay? It's that the central nervous system, right, is that if people feel some form of a threat activated, somebody says, so people can be activated with words, with sound. Somebody can say something, or with sight, you can see something. Is that the central nervous system is constantly on, scanning your environment energetically. It's also carrying nerves, right? Vibrating at a frequency of thoughts. So it is designed to help you find and locate. It beams, right? This is not just the five senses. This is the electrical circuit of the body loaded with nerves, controls motion, right? Muscular. Your muscles are activated into motion, into behavior, electrically with your nerves. However, the nerves carry the programming of what to do when specific things happen. So internally, you have all the stories that says, if this, then this, if this happens, then this person is this. And you are internally, people are coded energetically, and that energy is funded, right, for behavior, right? And then the cells receives, it's like a gas tank. When the cells needs to take action, it consumes energy. But what action to take based on specific things to happen, that programming is resident internally, those stories. So they are carried around, stories and energy. And then what triggers it is, if your body observes this, well, react this way. If you observe that, then do this. These are energized action. And so the energetic hold of programming is already there of behavior. So it's just to be picking it and using it. And it wakes the body up and makes the body behave based on the programming. And so it is a stronghold because it is automatic. It started somewhere, but now it is automatic. Behavior that has been activated for a long time repeats pattern and behaves in the same way. So if somebody says something, fight, do you want to fight them? Anger, so their behaviors that demonstrate aggressiveness towards, or some people may flight, run away. If you feel threatened or not in a safe zone? What are your tendencies? You've been doing it and you continue to do it, right? Or some people say freeze, they don't know what to do, locked in. So these are behavioral patterns that gets people, right, in a hold, right? Because the other thing that happens is once people behave that way for a long time, the mind then thinks that's who you are. And so people keep on repeating, and they constantly interpret life as, oh, this person is this person is that, this person is this, or right? So some people can be programmed to constantly feel agitated and then constantly feel activated, feeling somebody's fighting them. So they have to defend themselves, or they have to run or avoid, or they're like, they don't know what to do. It's been, right? People can be in this state for years. So it's an emotional stronghold that people don't say, oh, that's who they are. Yes, it's energetic. It's lasted for a long time. People don't even have to think about it. It's the natural automatic response to certain patterns in reality. And many people keep on repeating that over and over and over and over and over again. And they keep on attracting it. And right? So some people live in that zone constantly. The central nervous system is on the lookout, right? Because if they have a conclusion that somebody is this, somebody is that, well, that conclusion opens the door, right? On, okay, if this is the conclusion of what you say is happening, then the mind is like, what do we do when this happens? And so what do we do when this happens is what you've always been doing, and you've always approved it, you've not questioned it, you've not changed it. And so the mind continues to do that. But here's the key. That belief becomes pattern. The mind thinks, okay, that's what you enjoy doing. So it keeps on bringing those type of stories and attracting those type of actors on and on and on. So many people are living in that zone. The second thing is that many people are right? They carry dysregulated emotions, which has shifted them from the place of peace into fight, flight, freeze. Is that they are going for people, charging forward, thinking somebody's in their way, or they're avoiding, or they're like, well, since this is the situation, well, we just stay, we leave it right in limbo. So this regulated emotions shifts people, because when people are in emotional stronghold and repeating certain patterns of behavior, the emotion that is created by that energetic stronghold, they are dysregulated. I'm connecting 1 and 2 here. People who fight other people with a certain, they use a certain energy. That means their system is constantly running on that energy. Okay. The type of emotion that energy will create, the type of reality, experience, the person who is, what are they going to experience when they do that to other people and they do that to themselves? They will experience emotions that are dysregulated because the energy that is producing the behavior is low frequency. The endocrine system, hormone, will produce energy equal to that and send it to the cells. The cells will consume the energy people are using to do their behavior, and they will also then transfer it to other people. So how people will feel and what they would experience when they are in emotional stronghold will be dysregulated emotions. It's not happiness, it's not joy, it's not fulfillment. Nobody enjoys being angry. When they are done and the steam comes down, everybody's like, what did you just do? The people who experience such a person and the person who even did it, the emotional state they put the world in and themselves, how do you clean it up? Right? So people are activated for a long time, behaving, fighting, running, avoiding, this, that. Well, the life, the emotional reality in the cellular nature that their body experiences, the somatic, it's also not peace and joy. Okay? And number 3 is, this is what's misalignment. Not aligned with your original identity, Your soul always seeks peace. However, people are stuck in dysregulated emotions, stories of this or that, behaviors that do not bring peace. This is misalignment. If your heart and your soul loves peace and joy and happiness, but the behavior is inconsistent, what people are attracting is inconsistent, the people that they are doing life with, they're constantly doing this, constantly doing that, that's misalignment. What will help your soul and you to be happy is what you're supposed to be pursuing. That's what you're supposed to be attracting. But when people want peace, but they are getting angry, or people want joy, but they're constantly saying somebody else is doing this, that is misalignment. Also, it makes people say yes when they mean to say no. Dysregulation, right? Is that when people say yes when they mean to say no, the inner experience is then that means they are not driving themselves with positive energy. They will still do that thing with negativity, so they will not derive joy and pleasure from the things they are doing, because they are doing things that is misaligned. Because the way you get happy, the way you get joy, is you align your behavior with your soul's desire. That's where joy and happiness comes in. So what happens in between? People who want this, but they are doing that, and they are wondering why they are not getting their heart's desire, is because the energy to produce your desire of joy, right, must be joy. The energy you bring out to the world ought to be the energy you want from the world. What you sow, you reap. If you want peace, give other people peace. If you want joy, give other people joy. You will get what you give other people. This thing I just shared, if everybody would just awaken to that. Because when people bring anger, they are expecting other people to receive it, accept it, tolerate it. It's why people are not growing. People are permitting it to keep, right? People who feel they can dump negativity out there and that they can fetch positivity. The world doesn't work that way. The energy you bring to other people is what you use to ring the doorbell. Ring, ring, trigger. If you bring negativity and say ring, ring, please, who is in the door? Who is behind the door? Their own equal frequency will come out. That's how it works. So the energy you use to engage with people, be conscious on how, anticipate how you want them to engage with you back. Because if you do ring, ring, who will answer the door? Central nervous system is packed with, everybody's carrying secure side, insecure side, ego, right? Is that if you ring the bell, I want you to remember this. That's why I'm using this analogy. If you trigger people and they don't have emotional resilience to refuse to be triggered, because it takes incredible power and authority to refuse to answer the door the way they do, right? The bell was rung. So don't make assumption that everybody has emotional resilience. Make assumption that, listen, if you want joy to come out, with joy would you draw the wellspring. You do the work to bring to the world what you want to get out of the world. But don't fake it, because many people engage behavior, but the energy is false. The energy is what you get. No matter how you behave, what is transferred to the world is the energy behind the behavior. So intentionality matters. This is some subtle things where people think only action matters. No, the energy propelling the action is what is kept record of. The signature. If you use a red pen to write I love you, or you use a blue pen to write I love you, the two behaviors, what is written is the same, but the color doesn't change. Cain and Abel made sacrifices. In the behavior, both made sacrifice, but the heart with which they did it, the reason they did it, the intention, the energy they used, and the story that they used to why they did what they did is the record that is kept spiritually. It's not what you did. Two people can be running. One can be running for with faith. Another can be like, Well, the energy propelling them is what they will encounter when they arrive at their destination, because the energy that moves people attracts what they will get. Faith will attract what faith can produce. People will go, hoo. That noise, that sound in the spiritual world attracts the same sound. So it's not just behavior, it is in the spiritual world. Who's writing the script? Is it blue pen or red pen? Because spirituality can tell that I love you. It's the same words, but when you are reading it spiritually and scanning it, you can see the color. This is red. This is blue. This is the Spirit of God. This spirit. So the spiritual world is more focused on the spiritual dimension. Who is powering this behavior? People can be smiling and eating and doing all those things, but if you go back into the back end, the spirit behind this food that was placed in front of people, Proverbs said, people will put food in front of your mouth, but their heart is not with you. The food they put in front of you, why did they do it? It's because they love you, or they're trying to attract you and entrap you. Number 4, people, right? What's in the world of personal development, we say blocks, energetic blocks, is that when people can't seem to find their way or reach their destination, their goals, okay? When they're trying to achieve something, but they seem not able to achieve it faster, there are certain realities in the energetic space where people are not allowed to move forward simply because there is an energetic spiritual kind of roadblock. And negativity does that, right? Is that a lot of times when people are in emotional stronghold, they're in dysregulated emotion, they're constantly upset, angry, their mind is fully charged in that direction. When they now want to get good things, people who are doing, right? But they now want to receive good things. There are rules. There are rules where if people are entangled in negativity, until they clear those negativity, blessings are not released. That's why a lot of times they will tell people, when you're fasting, when you're believing God for certain things, don't get angry. Try and retreat and mind your business. Don't be activated. Don't be tempted to be this and that. Mind your business. If you are waiting for God to give you your answered prayer, that's not when you take your mind and energy and you're getting angry, you are doing this, you are telling the wrong story. This is the parallel, is that a lot of times people who haven't forgiven, who are holding malice and doing this, but they are praying and fasting. Well, Bible said, drop your offering. Go and deal with your issues and then come back. Is that spiritually, emotional dysregulation, strongholds, misalignments, actually, they impact how soon people can receive good things, because the noise they are making spiritually is the one they are attracting. If you actually want to get your blessings, guess what you are going to do? You're going to now use your entire system to prioritize what you really want. Because people get what they invest. If people are constantly in, this person is, well, they'll be attracted. That noise will be attracted. But then they are waiting for blessings. I'm saying, here's the key. If you actually want your blessings, stop doing all of that and start praising God, thanking God, and your behavior must match what it is you want to attract. You must be making a sound that will usher in your blessing. But when people say they want this, but they are doing that, well, that which you are doing is what you will get. That which you are sowing is what you. That's why, you find God trying to help people and saying, go and give somebody something. Go and do something good. Because God is trying to shift people from to open their vessel to contribute positivity into the world, because just by you opening yourself and dedicating yourself to doing something good, your emotional state changes to positivity, and in that state, you've opened your vessel, you can receive your blessing back. A lot of times when people can do good, the more good you do, the more good you will receive. So sometimes people pray. God may just send them, go and do one nice thing for somebody else. Why? Because it opens your vessel. The moment you invest good things for other people, it means you've also signaled to the world that the world should do good to you. So prioritizing doing for others what you want others to do to you. Don't do to others what you don't want. Right? Those are rules. Another thing is people feel stuck. Lack of progress. They feel misdirected. They're going around in circles. They're tired, de-energized. This is also part of it, is that if people don't align their soul behind the things they want to do, if they don't also align their spirit, because power comes from your spirit, your soul releases energy, and your feelings and emotions is what opens the door of the natural to receive. Many people are not making the type of progress they want simply because of misalignment between their body, their soul, their spirit. They might be trying to do things that their spirit is not engaged in. The body may be here and there and here, but who led them there? If you don't submit your body under your spirit and let your spirit lead and guide you, many times people can be doing action and moving around and wearing themselves out because the behavior is not powered by the Spirit of God, but they can be doing a lot of things powered by something else, which I say that is this concept of this misdirection is you want this, but you went in this direction. But what led you here? Because when you are led by the Spirit, Holy Spirit leads you in the direction where you will find what you're looking for. One of the clues is if you keep not finding what you're looking for, come back and ask yourself, who told you that's the way? You know, a lot of times people will say, oh, I want to start a business. They'll go to YouTube University. 1 year later, 2 years later, they're like, well, who told you that that's your place of learning? That the massive amount of information, who will synthesize it and give you a roadmap? So a lot of times people pray, God, give me this. However, guess what? If you don't wait for God to also give you the way, and if God gives you the way, but you disobey, many people feel stuck. Because intellectually, they may want to take shortcuts, or they may want to go here when God says go here. So disobedience, misalignment is when the Spirit of God wants to guide people, but people think they are smarter, or somebody else says, oh, go there, go there. Well, will you find what you're looking for there? And if you don't find what you're looking for there, have the spiritual intelligence to come back and get your reroute. Right? If GPS says go here, I say, you don't want to follow the GPS, you make the wrong turn. Well, there's an assumption you know your way. But what if you go your way and people get lost and stuck and all of those things? Well, how do you retrace your steps and then follow? And these are, it creates a lot of emotional states. Miss Beverly, did you want to ask a question? Okay. 6 is people can be in a stressed state, right? Where they are saying no time, no energy to focus on the right dimension, because the right way can actually require greater investment, can actually require more time and more energy than people are willing to prioritize. So they procrastinate what they're supposed to do today till tomorrow. And when tomorrow comes, they procrastinate it again because the work that is required to produce the results, they're not ready to apply the efforts in the moment because something else has taken priority subconsciously. And so many people can be emotionally distracted their emotions can be twisted with spiritually to keep them from doing what they need to do when they need to do it, so that they can get the blessing that God has for them. So many people can constantly be in a stress state, saying there's no time, there's no energy, they're not, right? But God wants them to do specific things. So they're leaving undone what will produce the results, but they're prioritizing something else. And so those who prioritize something else, but they're not prioritizing what God says they should prioritize, when will they get their blessings? What emotional states will they be in? Right? Because emotional development actually requires you to make sure you have your priorities on point. Because what you prioritize and what you focus on is where your energy goes. And if you're not putting your energy into the future God has for you, what is required to create that future? You are right. It's not being created because people are creating something else. Okay. So as I'm moving forward, I'll just share a few things to take note of. Suppressed emotion equals to suppressed power. When people are not expressing the truth of their inner reality, it means they are not in charge of their outer reality. Something else, right? If people's power that is coming from the spiritual gets stuck in the middle, but the body is busy doing something else, not in alignment with the desire of the spirit and the soul, the key is the body now is attached to what? Because there are three different attachments. There is body, right? In soul ties and relationship, it's just the body physically, right? Physical. There's emotional, soul tie. There's spiritual, where there's will exacted. So people's spirit can be, the will of other people can override other people's spiritual will. Okay? The energy of other people can entangle other people's souls. And then physically, the thoughts of other people can rule the body, can take charge of the body, just thoughts. But people have to discover which one they're dealing with. Okay, so suppressed emotions are emotions in the, right, desires that hasn't been expressed into the natural world. And if it hasn't been expressed, it means your body is not carrying it. But then what is your body carrying? Because your body, the feelings and emotions still needs to carry your desires. So if people's body is misaligned, is busy pleasing other people, but not pleasing the soul, it means it's not carrying the desires of that you have, but it's carrying the desires of other people. Also, there's secure side of you, then the unsecure. The secure side of you is when your spirit, your soul, your body, right, has received alignment. Your body is doing what your soul and spirit likes, right? And that's where joy and happiness is. That's secure. The unsecure side is when the body is carrying thoughts and feelings and emotions that are not yours. They are not yours. You didn't, it's not to your desire. You're feeling a certain way that is not making you happy. But where are those thoughts and feelings coming from? So part of this work is learning how to process what's really going on inside you and aligning it to what's going on outside you and reconciling and doing that and saying, okay, which one is the truth of who you are? Your feelings and emotions, your desires. They have to be mapped. Or the feelings and emotions can be mapped to somebody else's energetic desire. So watch out for these behaviors that underpins what I just shared. Let's see. Questions? Oh, you're fine. Okay, good. So number one, generally speaking, you see this kind of behavior, right? This is now physical. What you will see in the physical when people are dysregulated or misaligned emotionally. Okay? When people are suppressed, when literally people have been taken down spiritually or emotionally, the body will behave a certain way. Just watch out for this. Number one, generally speaking, Those who do not listen or speak tend to project. They skip the process, right? Maturity is say what you mean what you say. Your spirit, and align what's going on with your will spiritually to your desires in your soul, align it to your behavior in the natural. When people behave in ways not to their desire, just so they can present themselves in the natural way, a certain way, typically the soul desire they did not fully express in the body, they will project. They will skip the body and emit all of the things going on inside them that they did not say, that they did not engage, use, right? They will still emit it into the atmosphere energetically. People who do not mature enough to say what they mean and only do the things they want to do, the spiritual atmosphere of such places is loaded energetically with incomplete desires, unfulfilled dreams, dysregulated emotions, people who are not happy. They will still carry the content of their hearts and emit it into the atmosphere. Right? This is where they will still emit it, and whoever is in the atmosphere will catch it. But they will not know. If you are not intuitive or prophetic, people will not know the source of that stuff. And so many people impregnate the atmosphere with negativity that emitted from their soul, but they are all smiling and hugging and clapping, but they are not happy. The spiritual world knows the content of their hearts, that they are, right? When we say aura, they project it out. Is their real state. This real state of the heart is always out. So when there is conflict with aura and behavior, like it doesn't add up. There's no consistency there. And this is the world that other ignorant people fall into. They become friends with people whose hearts are not clean towards them, simply because the person is smiling and presenting a face to the world. But that's the state of their hearts that is being projected towards people. If you don't pick up that vibration, that is the true energy with which they're dealing with you, many people enter the spider's web. Because real healing and wealth and health, emotional health, and the best relationships are formed by people who are ready to expose the content of their heart with words. Those are the best people you can do life with, where they say what they mean and mean what they say, and they will not hide something in their heart, but yet they'll be smiling and moving around like everything is okay, but you know they are carrying a bunch of stuff and they are emitting it. That's suppressed anger. I'm telling you, if you're a spiritual person, you know when people dump on you, and what they are dumping is stuff, negativity, charge. They charge the atmosphere with negativity, and then people around them have to pick it up. But maturity is when people have already identified what's going on and they're ready to engage with the world in a mature way that is not projected, but is intentional. And they are ready to go back and forth and also fix and work on themselves. They're taking responsibility for their emotional state. Okay, I'm going to restart this soon because of the time. So that's what emotional dumping is. They dump on others. They complain on others, right? Instead of having a conversation, they saturate the atmosphere with negativity and they walk away. And next time you see them, they smile. Did anything? How are you? Fine. But they dumped the last time. The next time again, because they dump it, the responsibility they have to clean up their heart, they didn't do that. They dump it on the people they think triggered them. Some people will speak and say, listen, this is what's going on. Some people will say, you know what? energetic conversations, blaming other people, emitting stuff in the atmosphere, but nobody can trace. So other people now have to feel that energy. And you're like, right? So a lot of that happens in circles of people who don't learn to do this work and develop emotionally and confront. It takes courage. It's years and years and years and years of work. And we need to continue to grow it because it takes courage to actually expose the content of your heart.